Everyone needed a reference. Everyone needed more information from experienced person or godfather to know more information about what he or she might face in life in terms of skill, in terms of experience, what he or she might face in the future. This is our objectives tonight. This objective will provide you with more experience from an experienced profile, very experienced profile, in order to transfer you what you are going to do in the future, what skills you need in the future. And as in Life Choices, we always seek more improvement for our audience. What will benefit you more? This will be our discussion tonight from experience and bringing some from the past in order to benefit the future. This will be our topic tonight. See you in a minute.
Choices, chances, dreams and goals, many mixed emotions in my heart and soul. For some I made a plan and did the best I can. If God wills, things can happen. After all, I'm just a man. Choices, chances, dreams and goals, many mixed emotions in my heart and soul. For some I made a plan and did the best I can. If God wills, things can happen. After all, I'm just a man.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear brothers and sisters all over the world. Welcome in a new episode of Life Choices. As I told you in the introduction, tonight it's an episode we get some experience from the past, from the history, from very, very experienced profile in order to benefit you for your future. So this will be our topic tonight, and I'd like to welcome my experienced guest, Mr. Mann. Welcome, Mr. Mann.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on Huda
Thank
TV.
you, and nice to have you in Life Choices.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So, Mr. Mann, basically our topic tonight, as I know that through your experience, Mr. Mann, for our audience, already worked in industrial engineering in the US, and then he became a sports coach, and then he's a writer on Islam. All right, and this will be the discussion with Mr. Mann tonight. Also, I would like to welcome our guests. So, Mr. Ashraf.
How are you?
Yeah, nice to have you in Life
thank
Choices.
you. Thank you.
And our dear friend, Mr. Ahmed.
Thank you.
Nice to have you tonight.
Thank you very much.
So, mainly, Mr. Mann, I would like to start with a question which is concerning skills. As you know, anyone needs some skills in his life or her life in order to support him to achieve success for he or she. This was the last episode topic. We spoke about some skills. But I thought more in Life Choices to get some experience and tell the young man, what will they be needing in terms of skills in the future? And if I ask you this question, if we get back when you were in 20s,
Okay.
and after all these
that's a long
years,
time.
that's a long time.
Okay.
That's you have the time. During this era of your life, when you were 20, what were the specific skills that supported you to achieve success during this decade from 20 to 30? And what are the skills that you wish you have already possessed or developed?
Okay. In this phase of life, in your 20s, I would call it this is your kind of higher education. This is the phase of higher education. You need, people. Most people seeking now higher education. Maybe some people at this age, they're probably also already getting into business, or they already have things planned for them. But let's talk about most of the people that are, going for higher education and really planning for their career in life.
Yeah.
What are your plans? What do you want to become? You want to become a doctor? You want to become an engineer? What is it that you want? And this is actually a difficult choice for a young man. Many people don't really know. I would say most people don't really know what is their career plan.
Yeah.
And they would be wondering at this stage, that sometimes they would go into a field, they try it out for some time, and they say, oh no, that's not for me, try another thing, and so on. So this is actually very difficult to decide on what you want to study. What is it that you want to study? The other thing that you have to think about, and this requires training, because if you're not trained from an early stage to focus on your studies and to you're going to have a hard time in your higher education.
Yeah.
It's something harder than your high school years. So if you're not focused already in life, you don't have the skill, you'll find it difficult to kind of go smoothly through these years. You might make it, but there'll be hurdles if you don't have this skill already. So that's very important, focus. And I would say most people now have lots of distractions, probably much more than at my time. We didn't have internet at the time. We didn't have video games and all these things,
Yes.
or the video games weren't that interesting that for us to indulge in. So, this is something that a young person have to decide how to spend their time. And if you go on YouTube and search, you find some young people that has achieved so much.
Yes.
And they've like there's a young man who's involved in sports. At the same time, he's already finished his high school at 13, and he's done so many things. On the other hand, I don't suggest people like jumping over their years. Okay, live your life, live your age, but at the same time, know that you need to focus on what's important. You can have, let's say your fun time. But this fun time, what is it? Define it. Let's define this fun time. Especially as a Muslim, we have to be very precise on what type of activity we get involved in. What I advise young people is to get involved mainly in sports, because that also stimulates your brain and it helps you focus in your study at the same time.
Yes.
But I noticed that many young people, what they do is they probably do sports once a week, and they do it like for 4 and 5 hours.
Yes.
That actually that's exhausting, and it's very hard on the body. Instead, they should divide those. If it's 5 hours, divide it into 5 days. 1 hour a day. It's much better than going 1 day a week and doing like intensive training.
Yes.
This, like I said, stimulates your brain, helps you focus. Dedicate time for your study. Study in the early hours of the day. Best time to study actually is after Fajr time.
Yes, I always say this.
So it's focus on changing your schedule. Don't stay up too long at night. Stay at like till 2 or 3 in the morning, and then you're not able to wake up first for Fajr. You're not able to. You'll probably wake up at noon. Many people will miss their early, if they have classes in the early time of the day, especially in university. You have flexibility in the university. You don't have to come to class, but if you don't come to class, you're gonna miss, the topic. What did the professor talk about? You're missing on those, on important things for your studies. So you have to plan your day. And if you're a person that you have to change your schedule, it doesn't take more than a week or 2 to change your schedule.
Yes.
Your body adjusts. So, but you have one thing: you have to be disciplined. And this is something that lots of people lack, is discipline.
Yes.
You might start for a week, 2, 3 weeks, and then again it goes, it dips down kind of thing. So discipline yourself. Try to, put more emphasis on what's important. Schedule your day. And if I tell you from my experience, I really had to focus quite a bit on my studies, because I was one of those persons who were undecided. I didn't know what to study. Initially I said, okay, let me choose like business administration. That's good. That sounds good. But when I started it, I said, well, it's not for me. I didn't feel comfortable with it. So one thing at the university I attended, and is they have called an assessment test. And an assessment test, meaning they will test you on many things. The test is actually quite intensive. It's for many days, and you go for several hours every day. But it's actually good to find out what is your strength in terms of education. So after this test, they'll tell you, listen, you're better off in engineering, because you are more your skills are more focused on engineering. And then, this is when I made a decision, well, I need to be in engineering, and I chose the engineering field. But that's something, actually at the beginning I didn't know that existed in the university. And I would suggest to young people, to ask in their university if they have such a test. Before they start, even before, when they finish their high school, maybe in the summer before they get into the university, take a test like this. Maybe it's not offered in the university, but they will tell you where it's offered. Maybe it's offered in a different university, or it's offered in an educational center. But it's important if you are undecided, because actually what happens is you lose your time. You don't know where to go. Yeah, first, second semester you're studying something you're not really interested in. It's not your skill. Even if when you get into your career later on, it's not something that you like to do in life. So that's something very important to take early in your life, and decide what type of education I'm going to, my path, my educational path. And that also will decide my career path, because it's all related. This goes into another issue that probably most people face in the Middle East, is that their career path is different than their educational path. And that's probably something maybe forced on them. But in general, if you like something, go for it. If it happens later on that you couldn't work in it because of circumstances, then it's beyond it's not your choice. But at least you studied something that you like, you enjoyed, and then you could relate to, and you would do better in, as far as when I studied like business classes, I didn't do well at all because I didn't enjoy them. I wasn't. We didn't connect, kind of thing. It's not the thing that I want to do. But when I went into engineering, it's completely different. I was more motivated because it's something that is in me, that I do better in this field. So that's very important for young people to decide on. So this is the phase. But one thing to keep in mind is always we have to have Allah in our plan in whatever we do.
The message.
Yeah. So I suggest to people to seek advice and make istikhara. Making istikhara meaning asking for guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is two factors that are very important. You ask people that are, if you're doing something worldly, you ask people, who are specialized. You want to do, let's say you want to do engineering, whatever it is, electrical engineering. Well, ask people that are in this field. Ask people who are in the educational field, and ask the people who are in the career. How is it? Is it something that I can relate to? Is it something that I can, that motivates me, that I want to do? And then make istikhara and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala whether this is something for you, and let Him decide for you. Let this be your your way of in any decision making in your life, not only in this early stage, but any decision making in your life is you seek people's advice, and then you ask Allah for guidance if this is good for you. So this is important, and that relating it to a story is that when I went to university at the beginning, I actually had I wanted to relate to people that I knew, so I was in the West, so I went with people that are from my country. But that's actually, in many cases, it's not a good choice, and it's something that that those people actually distracted me quite a bit. Yeah, we were having fun, but I wasn't focusing on the studying. I came to study, and I'm paying money to study, but then at the same time, somebody is distracting me from this. So I had to make a decision that, okay, this is not the company that I want. I went to the company of people that are, they were from different backgrounds, from different countries and different culture, but they're all Muslims, and they're focused, their focus is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is very important because, it changes your life. It changes the whole aspect of your life. And this is where you see, now you're trying to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You see that your life changes. Even the worldly things changes for you. So initially things are not correct, but then when you focus on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He makes things correct for you. So things will change for you automatically
Yes.
in the worldly life. So that's very important at the same time to not to forget that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who has given us everything. And whatever we plan, it's His plan that will work at the end. So if we are focused on thinking that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the ultimate planner, and we plan ourselves, then He makes the plans will match together. You know,
Of
He
course.
will. It will go hand in hand. That He will. He will make things easier for you, and the decision making will be much easier.
Yes,
Mm.
agreed. Actually, Mr. Mann, thank you for the input, because we're already through the discussion. I summarized that in terms of a skill, people need planning skill.
Exactly.
They need to know how to plan their life. They need discipline in their life. And concerning discipline, we already spoke about it in the life choices in Ramadan, and we were taking the chance of Ramadan to teach you real discipline. And concerning managing your time, so it's mainly, we suggest time management, we suggest planning and prioritizing, which is to prioritize what is important and what is the most important, and manage your time, and we add to it discipline, because the discipline is the method. It
Right,
allows you
right.
to achieve already what you have planned, not to be behind schedule.
Exactly. So
Right.
you have to remove those distractions, in your life.
Yes.
Those distractions are the ones that are slowing you down.
Yeah.
So, you're disciplining yourself to say, well, this is not the thing that I need to do. I need to remove this from my life.
Yes.
And, you look at your day, and if you find your day is wasted and has gone fast and you haven't done much, that means you have, lack of discipline in what you do
Yes.
in your daily life.
Agreed.
So this is what you say, well, I'm not going to be watching TV, for example, on weekdays, because I dedicate these days for my studies. Maybe on weekends I dedicate 1 or 2 hours to watch TV, whatever, a program that I like or something like this.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I can instead, I like I said, start your day by studying, but then involve in your day something that you enjoy. I mentioned sports, but maybe someone enjoys something else. Like it's a hobby, it's something you enjoy. Spend about an hour a day in this hobby, because that will, it's a change from just studying, and then and naturally as a Muslim, when you go to the prayers, it's also a change in your daily schedule. It kind of gives you some rest from too much studying, because when some people that kind of sit down and study too much, at the end they no longer comprehend what they're reading.
Yeah.
So they have to take breaks first. You take maybe 5 minutes break per hour at least.
Yes.
And again, don't take half an hour for every hour, because it'll be too much.
Yes, of course.
Time management will be.
You will not get 50%.
Yeah,
you'll
not reach your goal. And then while you're studying, it's a good thing to kind of jog down the main points that you have comprehended, because what happens, you could have understood in this hour, but then you're studying a different topic,
Yes.
and then
you forget it all.
forgot the first one. So write down the main points that you have comprehended from this topic, and then if you're no longer comprehending that topic, change the topic.
Yes.
Go to a different topic. Study it for some time. Again, jot down what's important, and then you say, now, well, I'm no longer focused on studying. Well, let me take a break.
Yes,
Let's
you
say
take a break.
I go to pray or maybe eat a snack. Again, also at the same time, nutrition is important.
Yes, I was about to say this when you mentioned snacks.
Yes, nutrition is important, because some type of nutrition actually slows you down,
Yes.
while other type of nutrition stimulates your brain and makes you more focused. So, in general, you need to avoid sugar.
Yes, of course.
Sugar is people think, well, okay, sugar gives me more energy, but it has a side effect. There's a good type of sugar and a bad type of sugar. So instead, you see honey, which again is a sunnah, is a good type of sugar.
This is good, but unfortunately I would like to we will have a call from audience, Ahmed from Egypt. We have
Assalamu
Ahmed. Hello, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Yes, where are you,
Can you hear
Ahmed?
me?
Yes, Ahmed?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you now.
I want to say I've been following your program, Life Choices, and mashallah, you've started with the life planning and the skills of success, and now selling skills. In today, you've been talking about religion and one's life improvement. I want to ask, does religion keep us away from life improvement? Because it appeals to some people that as long as you are a religious person, that could keep you away from the self-development.
Yes.
I want you to shed some light on that, please. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Ahmed.
That's
Thank you
very
for
good
interference.
point.
Yes, that's a
That's
very good point. Because
You
I see
know-
it these days, people, they go to worship Allah, but they forget their lives and how to improve it life and how to serve the message. Because the biggest part in the message is to worship Allah, yes,
Right, right.
but it's not 100% of the message.
Exactly, exactly. You see, like lots of young people, they have a zeal, that they want to be in the masjid and so on, and they start, maybe spending most of their time in the masjid and neglecting their studies.
Yes.
So it has to be balanced. You go in the West, lots of people prefer to be in the masjid, and if there is a library in the masjid, that's a good thing to be in a masjid, because the library probably at the university is there's lots of distractions.
Yes.
So and for a Muslim, it's not a good thing to be in an environment like this, especially there's lots of young ladies and so on, and it's for young men it's not something that's healthy. So what needs to happen is that you go to the masjid, you pray your prayer, and then after that you sit in the masjid. You're already there. You're studying. If this is the good, let's say a gap between, let's say Asr and Maghrib, you do your studies, and then you pray Maghrib. You take a break from your studies. You go back, and maybe you need to eat something.
Yes.
And we used to do that initially, especially in my early time 20s, when I was at that time in the university where there was no masjid at that time. The community, the Muslim community, was still planning to build a masjid and so on.
Right.
So as young people, we put some money together, about 15 of us, and we rented an apartment, and we made it a masjid, and people used to come for Jummah and so on in that small apartment.
Yes, and actually I see this is also part of planning, because if we get back to the 20s and beginning of our talk, we spoke about discipline, we spoke about time management and planning. Sorry, but I see a very important thing concerning people who don't know what they need to be in the future. Sometimes we find people, they plan to be engineer, a doctor, economist, scientist, etc. But over my experience, I see that the earlier you start your practical or career life,
Right.
the earlier you will discover your path.
Yeah, but again,
Right?
we get back to the point
Yes,
of a point in your goals. What are your goals?
What
That's
are your
very
goals?
important,
Yes.
So when you are in university, in your education, you have to focus on success and to pass with a very good grade.
Yes.
But in the middle of 20s, now you're a graduate, you've graduated. So it gets a bit complicated, especially in our countries.
Yeah.
And that's my question to my
Mr.
brother,
Maan.
Mr. Maan. After graduation, what were your goals, and how did you plan for achieving these goals, and what are the hardships that faced you and stood as a barrier to achieve your goals?
That's a very good question, because it's true at the beginning, especially when you are, you just finished your university education.
Yeah.
It's very hard to get into the employment and to get a good employment. Like I said, many people will work on something that's unrelated to their, just because they want to survive, they want to earn something. So to get into your field, many times you might have to just think about something innovative that you do your own. Like at what I did is that I started my own kind of freelance business. Okay, it wasn't something big, and I charged people very little because I wanted to get their business.
Yes.
You see, and people say, "Oh, this is good."
Yeah, this
For
is
me,
start
it
of
was
any entrepreneur.
Yeah, for me it was a path to build a better career. So, you know, I earned very little and I had to sacrifice, but then I gained experience, and the more I did that, I gained more and more experience to the point where now I can go to a company and say, you know, I have these skills, are you interested? And they'll say, yeah, we can hire you, you know. And then, you know, you're going in solid, you know, somebody who has experience. Because that's what they're looking for. Many people, you know, in our countries, they look at the person, they want a person with experience, but he's just a graduate.
Yeah.
You're always you have to give him the chance for experience, so they don't give the graduate chance to gain experience. So that's why I suggest if you know, they can sacrifice and put, you know, say, okay, I have these skills, I've learned these things in the university. Well, how can I apply them in you know, maybe get in touch with people, or sometimes you even go to someone and say, well, I would like to work for you for 3 or 4 months. I don't need any pay. Just give me the chance to prove myself and learn. You know,
Yes.
you know, you might have to do that.
Actually, I see this part of the good and nice sacrifices we do it in business, because I remember that I started something with the same, charging people with very, very, very little money, but with high value to their business in order to get really their business. And
Right.
I totally agree
To
with
get
this.
experience.
Yes, and continuing again with skills required for the era of the 20th and beginning in the life, we have still the discussion with Mr. Mann. We'll go for a short break and come back to you. Please don't go anywhere.
Al-Imam al-Nawawi, may Allah have mercy on him, have indeed did a great and a tremendous job in compiling some of the most beautiful ahadith and relevant ayat in one of his marvelous works, which is known as Riyadh al-Salihin, or Gardens of the Pious. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us all amongst the dwellers of Gardens of the Pious. Jannat al-Na'im. Allahumma ameen.
Humans to be the best and give his best religion to them. Rasulullah, Habib Allah. Allah, our God, is the greatest. The one and only glory to him.
TV commercials motivate viewers into immediate action and to sway consumer loyalty from one brand or service to the other. That's why we're here for you, to help you sell your products and services by using creative ideas that bring life into your own TV commercial. Advertise your business and branded products and services on Huda TV. We will offer you fast-paced and energetic 30-second affordable TV spots. Advertise on Huda TV, acquire fresh customers and stay within your budget. For more info or to receive a quote, please send your inquiries to advert@Huda TV. Huda TV.
Since Huda TV first launched in 2005, the channel has been striving to extend its broadcast to cover every corner of the globe. We're already live through satellite in the Middle East, parts of Europe and Africa, and via web streaming around the globe. Today, Huda TV is pleased to offer glad tidings to its viewers in the United States of America. Huda TV is now available for broadcast on the Galaxy 19 satellite on the following parameters. Satellite, Galaxy 19 at 97 degrees west. Transporter, 28. Frequency, 12184. Polarization, horizontal. FEC, 3/4. SR 22000. We're thankful to Allah that Huda TV's English programming is now available to all our viewers in America. And we promise you to bring you more upscale productions day by day. Tune in to Huda TV on Galaxy 19 right now. Huda TV, a light in every home.
Dear audience, welcome back from the break, and we're still continuing with life choices and concerning the skills required to achieve success in your life. Before the break, we summarized some skills that are crucial to achieve success for your life, summarized by Mr. Mann. The skills summarized in planning and prioritizing, and we already spoke about life planning, how to plan your life. And my advice to you, you have to start early. Earlier is the better to discover which path or way to go through. So it's planning, discipline, time management, and also challenge yourself. This is through discussion with Mr. Mann during the break. I cannot call it a skill or something you need to name it, but challenge yourself. This is something that you really, really need to find in yourself, because there is nothing strong in life than you. So you are your support and you are your enemy at the same time. Also, finding a mentor is very important. Someone to guide you, someone with real experience in life, to guide you, to tell you this is wrong, this is right, do it at this time, you need to postpone this, etc. And getting back through the second part of this tonight episode with Mr. Mann, during the break we're discussing something with you, Mr. Ashraf, and it was a real problem with you. So shall you share it with our audience?
Actually, I'd like to see this opportunity with you and with Mr. Mann to discuss this topic from a different perspective. For me, I might have some different kind of a problem to define my best career. I already pursued one of the careers, and I spent about 3 years in this career, but all of a sudden, it's not all of a sudden, but after 3 years and already gained some experience and some success, I find myself not into this career. I couldn't find myself, so I'm all trying to find a different way, different career. What should I do?
It's also hard when you have started in a career to transition to another career. It's another big decision making.
Yes.
But in any career, we're talking now. Our worldly life is we're earning. It's halal. It has to be halal, of course. What we do, and that should be satisfaction. Satisfactory is first. It's halal. If it's something haram, we should immediately try to look for something different. Ask people if it's what you're doing is something that is in accordance to Islam. Now, in your case, you've worked for 3 years, and you're still not satisfied. There might be different reasons, but like I was telling you in the break that always look at things from a positive perspective. So look at your work, whatever is negative, look at it from turn it into something positive. And then if you try to do that, eventually it will become positive.
Yes.
But if let's say it didn't happen, you tried it for another, let's say, couple of years, it didn't happen.
Yes.
Now you can start to look for something else, because things are not working in accordance to what you have planned it to be. So you were saying something. Is there something?
Yes, we have a phone call from our friend Mahmoud from Egypt. Yes, Mahmoud.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you so much for this wonderful program.
Thank you.
And actually, I'm calling you because I have a problem in my life that is related to the topic that you are discussing.
All right.
Actually, alhamdulillah, I'm a successful person as far as I can tell.
Alhamdulillah.
But in the course of my life, I come across many tough problems with which I feel overwhelmed, and I feel like what can I make of these problems? I feel like paralyzed, and I can't do nothing about these problems. And SubhanAllah, I'm a religious person. I'm not saying I'm not like a practicing Muslim. I'm a practicing Muslim, and I pray the prayers on time and in congregation. and I do fast, and I do pay in charity as well. Even I can manage my affairs, like my daily affairs around the prayer. Like, for example, I do from Dhuhr to Asr something, and I do from Asr to Maghrib such and such, and so on and so forth.
Right.
But the problem is I can't actually deal with these problems, and sometimes I feel depressed, and sometimes I feel like anxiety and stress takes over myself. And I'm wondering, how can I use religion in helping me overcome these problems? How can I use religion in attaining peace of mind? How can I use religion in making myself feel easy about these problems? I really feel like totally weak in face of these problems, even though, as I told, I'm a religious person. So I wish you can help me with that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mahmoud, for sharing. So, Mahmoud, you were asking about what religion can help you and support you in solving this problem. But before we go to the religious or the religion to support Mahmoud, I think that Mahmoud's problem, that he's convinced that he cannot solve this problem from his inside. So, Mahmoud, you need to tell yourself, you can solve these problems first, and then we go to the religious or the religion solution. But from yourself, from inside, you remember when we were speaking about life planning and goals and all these previous episodes, we mentioned something that's really, really, really important. You have to have it from here. From here, Mahmoud. Tell yourself from here that you can solve these problems, really, from here. Then we go for the religious solution. Then it will be solved, because as long as you try, God is at your side. But when you are convinced that you cannot, so you don't try, or try desperately, so you are really walking on the wrong direction. Believe in yourself, Mahmoud, that you will solve this problem. And for Mahmoud's problem, Mr. Man, concerning what religion can support him.
You know, for me, it's I
it's
don't like to separate religion from, you know, it's religion is embedded in our lives.
Yes.
And he already mentioned he's a religious person.
Yes.
I don't think his issue is religion, you know, really. He's already somebody who's dedicated.
Yes.
He could have something else, you know, some other issues, and maybe he needs to change from his daily routine, you know.
Okay.
Like I said, you know, take an hour, do your hobby. This hobby is something that you kind of rejuvenates you, you know.
And
something
sports, you mentioned sports, which is
I
really,
mentioned
really
sports
important, and nutrition.
Exactly,
Because
because
maybe
sports
you're
is
in
something that stimulates you. You know, your blood is flowing through
Yes.
your entire body. It circulates through your brain. You know, that's what stimulates the brain, is that
Yes.
the blood is circulating.
Provides
in it,
you
and
the
it's,
energy to do
right.
it.
It gives you also energy.
Yeah.
You know, if you know, many people maybe at the beginning they feel, well, if they start a sport, everything is aching, muscles are aching. Well, you know, wait couple of weeks, and then everything is back to normal. Your body will adapt. You know, believe that there's always a solution for a problem. There's something, you know, there's something that we have to trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He will find a solution for every problem that we have. It's not like there's, you know, so people, you know, you said you get depressed, or you feel that you know, you're hopeless. And, you know, like you mentioned, believe in yourself and say, you know, if I have a dilemma, or if I have a problem, you know, I have to stand up, and then I have to look forward and say, well, I can do it. I can, you know, bypass this problem and achieve, you know, what are my goals. I shouldn't just stop there and say, well, this problem is stopping me from my goals. Then I just stand there and then watch it. No, look at the problem. Look at the root cause of the problem.
Yes.
What is it that's bothering you? It could be many things. It could be your career. It could be your, you know, at home. And like I said, you know, it goes back to what we said earlier. Look at things from a positive perspective. And I learned that, you know, in my early, you know, when I was in my 20s. For some reason, you know, I disliked a person, but because, you know, maybe his attitude towards people was a bit harsh. But I said, I sat down one day and I said, I want to like this person. Because he's a religious person, he's a person who's worthy to be liked. He has maybe some problems in his character, but it doesn't stop it there. That doesn't mean I need, I should dislike him. And I really convinced myself, and he became my, my best friend. So it's my attitude toward, whether it's a friendship, whether it's my studies, whether it's my career, whether it's my family. I have to change myself and change my attitude and say, I need to turn things that are negative into things that are positive. And it's only me that I can do it through Allah's help. I seek Allah's help that to help me do what I need to to achieve.
Yes.
So this is very important. We can't leave Allah out of the equation.
Of course.
Whenever we think about anything, it has to be Allah first, and then then things will work out. So this is what I have to tell him. He didn't mention his actual problem, so we cannot really focus on the problem. But in general, this is a
but
good,
whatever the
good
problem,
answer.
I see that the solution is the same. And I see myself when we have a problem or a goal or something that we really need to achieve in life that is really, really, really difficult. I see something, and it is a religious thing. We trust in Allah that will help and support us. You know what? Sometimes I sit and I have a goal in mind that by all the logical and mathematical means, it's impossible. By logic and by experience, by analytics, it's impossible. But you know what? I go for it. Why?
Risk.
No.
Faith.
Faith. I tell myself, this is very, very, very difficult. But I ask this from you. Because I know, and I'm sure, and I believe from here, that you is the only one can do miracles. And I work hard. Sometimes it goes, and sometimes it doesn't. But for the toughest, I have faith that God will support me. And I see this as the real solution for you, Mahmoud. Hope we answer your question and hope your problems get solved. But have it from here, faith. And good luck, Mahmoud, with your problems. So, Mr. Ahmed, you wanted to share something with us?
Yeah, well, being with such an interesting personality like Dr. Mann, I have lots of questions, but let me start with this question because it's important to me.
Okay.
Lots of young men at the age of, in this decade of their 20s, they think about getting married. And we were speaking about that in a previous episode.
Yeah.
Your ultimate customer,
yes.
the government.
Yeah, we were speaking about sales, and I had a discussion with a friend of mine who's an expert in sales, and he said, who is your ultimate customer? He mentioned your wife. Yeah.
Yeah, great. So my question to you now is, how did marriage work for you? I mean, how did it support you in your life, in your career, your professional life? And it's a kind of personal question.
It's
when
dangerous,
did you get married?
not personal.
Sorry?
It's dangerous, not personal.
When did you get married?
Yeah, when you decide, as a young man, obviously it's something that comes. Marriage came to my mind from when I was 20 years old.
Okay.
Obviously, at this age, I just started. University. I was still, doing my university education. So I, from a point of view of feasibility, right? It's not really feasible at this point in time for me to get married because marriage is not only saying, well, I want to get married, and I just go and marry randomly. But you have to have also planning for how are you going to support your family. So that's very important because first you start with your wife. Soon after, not even a year, you'll have a child, and children start. So you really have to think in long terms. So, if you plan that I'm going to finish my education, I'm going to work. Really, don't think that I'm going to earn I have to earn such and such in order to achieve this. I looked at things in a simple way. first, I was still in university when I got married. I was still studying. Because I was doing my master's degree, and I wanted to go even for further education. So I did this freelance type of work, and I earned very little. But I was satisfied. I didn't save anything, but I was living my kind of day to day, and I was really happy with that. So it's something that you have to decide on. And the other thing, maybe in your, and it depends on your culture. I didn't have this barrier because I was living in the West with my wife, kind of left my culture and living in a different country.
Yeah.
So I just, like I said, I didn't have much savings. Even at the beginning, I didn't have a car. I had to borrow a car from friends in order to go places.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't look at material things. I said, okay, my life is simple. Even my home had barely any furniture.
Yeah, but how lucky you are when you have a supportive wife.
Yeah, you see, that's what it is that if your wife agrees with this type of condition, she's happy, that's good. But, in our culture or in like the kind of Middle Eastern culture, everything is, it has to be this way or that way. They have like a long list, from 1 to 10. You must achieve these 1 to 10 in order to get married.
Mm-hmm.
And really it's unnecessary,
That's economic list.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of things that
need really huge financing, and at this age you will not be able to.
You have to do this, you have to do that. You have to buy an apartment. You have to, and as a young man, you don't have the means.
Yes.
You don't have those means yet. So, it's if you convince, you convince the people around you that you need to get married, and this is your plan. You make your own plan. You see how you're going to do it to convince them that your plan will work. Yes, they have a plan, but your plan also is a good plan. And let's say you have a fiance, but you're waiting, 2 or 3 years is still in the fiance years.
Yeah, that's a very long.
And then you convince your fiance that this is how we gotta live our lives, because this is my means. I can't live beyond my means, and if she agrees, that's good. She doesn't agree, it's maybe the choice is not right. I don't know.
Yes, exactly. She has to be supportive from the beginning.
Right.
Supporting, and because we spoke about this in previous episodes and concerning marriage specifically, because we agreed that marriage is a life-changing decision.
Mm-hmm.
If you married early and if you married in a later stage in your age. And I see it's the most crucial decision in any man's life.
You really start a new life.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Completely different
It's
life.
a new life, and I read an article about this, and this article talked about that your marriage can turn you down or put you in the sky.
Yes.
It depends.
Exactly.
It depends on your choice,
Mhm.
because it's not marriage for the marriage, maybe marriage for the love, loving the person, yes, but what about the plan? What about your life economics? What are you going to do about this? What is your vision in life and your vision in life? Will your wife support, and she believes in your vision and she will support it? If yes, she's the right person, and not yes by wording, should be by actions. And these are already clear during the engagement.
We should give credit mainly to maybe I've seen it among especially Egyptian ladies, is if the husband is kind of drained financially, immediately they will offer their gold or whatever variables they have
to support him.
Exactly. This is something I
They
admire
sacrifice,
personally.
yes.
Yeah.
But
That's
actually,
very
I'd like to share this topic from this perspective of the young men. I noticed something in our community, that most of the people here, most of the young men, look at the marriage as the end of their business life. They make it their ultimate goal. So they are trying to work very hard from the beginning of their business life. For what? Just for marriage. But what after marriage? They know nothing. So this is for me one of the big challenges for me myself. Marriage is not the end. My life starts after. So this is what you were talking about, Mr. Marwan was talking about. Just take it simple. It's not the end of the world. You are going to get married. You are going to start a new life, a new family. and new responsibilities. You'll have new responsibilities.
Put
You
double
know,
line under responsibility.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's very important that you're responsible for other people.
Yes.
Other people's
Responsibility and-
lives are dependent on you, so you have to really.
Yes, I agree with this, but also I see that the problem here that the vision from the beginning and the ultimate goal was just marriage.
Mhm.
And this is a planning crisis,
Yes.
that you already were looking of the plan of your life from here till end of the studio. What kind of plan it is?
Mhm.
It's a life plan for when you reach the age of 50 and 60. Marriage is a stage in your life.
Mhm.
And concerning and summarizing for our audience, and we were speaking about the skills required. We spoke about planning, we spoke about time management, and time management, I see it is more related with discipline, because without discipline you will not be able to manage your time. And we mentioned the idea of marriage because this is really, really, really crucial, and our friend Ahmed raised it. Thank you for raising the issue. So by getting back again to the skills, we spoke about planning, time management, discipline, challenge yourself. Also, we have things that are not skills, but it's kind of lifestyle or life discipline, like sports and nutrition, because nutrition is really, really crucial and important. Your eating habits will really affect your future and your career plan and your plan generally. And I faced
It could affect your attitude, actually.
Your
Yeah,
attitude.
your mood and attitude.
When I
yes.
eat something that has lots of sugar,
Yeah.
I cannot work with my economics and math. So summarizing this and concerning the skills, first I would like to thank you, my audience, for following us in tonight. Wish it is really, really important and fruitful episode to you. We always think and dig for more important information, and in life choices, we would like to get most of the benefit to you. First, I would like to thank Mr. Mann. Thank you so much
Thank you
for
very
being
much
with
for
us,
having me on
and it was an
TV.
honor having you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
It's an honor to be on that.
Yeah, thank you so much. We'd like to thank Mr. Ashraf. Thank you,
Thank
and
you
having
very
life choices, and our dear friend Ahmed. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So
The
thank
pleasure is
you,
mine.
our audience, and would like to have your comments on our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/lifechoiceshuda. This will be our Facebook page. Please go there and have your thoughts and what you really need to see in Life Choices, because you are our customers. We need to know what you need and we'll support it. Thank you so much and good night. See you next week.
Chances, dreams and goals, many mixed emotions in my heart and soul. For some I made a plan and did the best I can. If God wills, things can happen. After all, I'm just a man. Choices, chances, dreams and goals, many mixed emotions in my heart and soul. For some I made a plan and did the best I can. If God wills, things can happen. After all, I'm just a man.